"You this blind, evil woman, I'm done with you," Charles shouted. Loretta's body hit the ground just outside their small bungalow. Her knees scraped the rough concrete. Her hands shook as she tried to feel the floor, tried to understand where she was. She could not see. She had not seen in months. "Charles, please," she cried, her voice soft and broken. "Please don't leave me here. Please don't do this to me. I'm your wife." "You are not my wife," he spat. His voice was full of anger, and also something else. Pride. "You are my past. Do you hear me? Past. I have a new life now. You can't follow me there." Loretta reached out, reaching toward the sound of his voice, like a child trying to find light in darkness. Her hand touched his trouser. He kicked her hand away. Then he grabbed the old brown bag she always kept by the bed and threw it at her. The bag burst open in the dust. Second-hand dresses, torn wrapper, a shoe with a broken heel. That was all she had left in this world. "Take your things," Charles said. "All of them." Loretta moved her hands slowly in the dirt, trying to feel for her clothes, shaking, wiping tears from her face with the back of her wrist. She didn't even know which direction the clothes fell. She didn't even know where the step ended and where the gutter began. She was afraid to crawl and fall into the gutter. "Charles," she whispered. "Please, where are you? Please don't go. I can't see. I can't even walk by myself. Don't leave me here." That was when he lifted his shoe. I said, "I'm done with you." He raised his leg like he wanted to kick her face. Loretta covered her head with her two hands and cried, "Charles, please, please don't hit me again. Please, I'm begging you." He froze there for a moment with his foot in the air. And in that moment, if you were watching, you would think, "No, he will stop. He knows this is too much. He will not do it." But Charles wasn't thinking about right or wrong. He was thinking about his new job. He was thinking about the future he believed he deserved. "You have been blocking my life since the day I married you," he said through his teeth. "Do you know how many interviews I missed because I had to be holding your hand like a baby? Do you know how many people laugh at me? Ah, Charles, where's your blind wife? That is what they ask me, like I'm a joke." Loretta shook her head, tears rolling down her face, mixing with dust. "That's not fair," she whispered. "That's not true. I always supported you. You know I did. Please don't say that." He laughed. A cruel laugh. "Supported me?" he said. "Supported me? Do you know I finally got a job today? Do you know? Do you know how much they're paying me? Do you know who hired me? Anderson Group of Companies? Do you know how big that is?" Loretta did not answer. She could not answer. Her mouth was open, but nothing came out. Because she knew that name. Anderson Group. That was the company he had been dreaming of for years. The one he always talked about. The one he always said would change everything. The one he said would finally put him in his real level. So this is the day. This is the day he waited for. And this is the day he chose to throw her away. Charles pointed at her on the ground like she wasn't a person. Like she was trash. "I told you," he said. "Once I get a good job, I'm done with you. I told you I cannot carry bad luck into a new chapter. And I mean it. I can't go to work with this pity story." "Oh, sorry, sir. Your wife is blind." "I don't want pity. I want respect. I'm not going to spend my first salary on eye surgery. I'm going to spend it on ME. Loretta's lips trembled. "But I lost my eyes for you," she whispered. Then Charles's face changed. For 1 second, you could see something like shame in his eyes. 1 second. Then it was gone. He leaned close to her ear and said slowly, like poison, "That was your choice." Her heart broke. Her whole body felt cold. Because it was not true. Because it was the biggest lie in the world. Because she remembered. She remembered the day everything went dark. Before she lost her sight, Loretta was strong. Not rich, not fancy, but strong. She used to wake up at 4:30 a.m., tie wrapper, and carry an axe taller than her arm. She would walk to the back of the bush area behind the village line and cut firewood, heavy wood, with her own hands. Why? Because Charles said, "Baby, I have an interview in Port Harcourt. If I travel, this is the one that will change our life. I just need transport money. Please, help me." They had nothing left in the house that week. Nothing to sell, nothing to borrow. And Loretta had smiled then. She always smiled for him, even when she was tired. "Don't worry," she had said. "I will get it for you." She didn't tell him that her hands were already blistered from the last week. She didn't tell him that her back was already in pain. She didn't tell him that she had not eaten a full meal in 2 days so he could eat. He was her husband, and in her heart, that meant something. So that day, she went deeper into the bush than normal, so she could get thicker wood and sell it for more. She bent. She raised the axe. She swung. The axe hit the log. The wood broke in a strange way. A sharp piece of dry wood shot up fast. A thin, hard, angry piece, and it hit her straight in the eyes. Both eyes. It was like fire. She dropped the axe and screamed. She fell on her knees and covered her face, and screamed so loud the birds flew. By the time neighbors ran to her, blood was already all over her face and hands. Her eyes were burning, tearing, screaming. She could not open them without pain. She could barely breathe. They rushed her. They wrapped cloth around her eyes. They took her to a small clinic. The nurse said they needed surgery. Real surgery. Urgent surgery. They did not have the money. And Charles told her with a shaking voice, holding her hand, "Baby, just hold on. Please, just hold on. I'm going to find the money. I swear to you. Just hold on." She believed him. She held on. She sat in the dark. She waited. But the days passed. Then the weeks. Then the world slowly faded. Until one morning, Loretta woke up, and the black didn't go away. That was the last morning she ever saw sunlight. That was the price she paid so Charles could chase his future. That was the day her life ended, and his new life began. Now that same man stood over her and said, "That was your choice. Is the postard. Is the Tsar." He reached for the small bag again, took out the only wrapper that wasn't torn, and threw it back on the ground like trash. "Take this and go," he said. "Go to your father's house. Go to whoever you call family. But you are no longer living here. I've warned you, Loretta. I don't want to see you in my compound when I come back from work. You hear me? Charles, please," she begged. Her tears were running fast now. "Where will I go? My mother is gone. You know she's gone. My father is gone. I have nobody. I don't even know how to cross the street alone. I can't cook for myself. I can't bathe myself without help. Please, please don't leave me alone like this. I gave you everything. Please don't do this to me." Something like anger flashed in his eyes again. But now, it was mixed with fear, because he knew she was telling the truth. So he chose to be harder. He grabbed her by the arm, dragged her across the rough ground, and pushed her out through the doorway, out into the open compound, like someone throwing away old clothes. Loretta cried out in pain. "Get out," he shouted. Then, like a final cut, he said in a cold voice, "Listen very well. I have a job now. A real job. With Anderson Group. With good pay. With real people. With class. I will not let you, a blind woman with bad luck, make them laugh at me. I am not pity husband anymore. I am not, sorry sir, husband anymore. This is my new chapter. You are not part of it." And he slammed the door. Then she heard it. He locked it from inside, locked her out of her own home, like she was a stranger, like she never washed his clothes, like she never cooked for him, like she never prayed for him at night. Loretta knelt in the dust, shaking, holding her own arms, rocking like a child, whispering to herself, "Please God, please God, please God." Then she heard one more sound. The iron gate at the front of the compound. It opened. It closed. Then nothing. He was gone. He left her there, blind, alone, with her bag on the ground and blood starting to show again where her old scars had reopened from the fall. Loretta pressed her palm to the floor to steady herself. Her body hurt. Her heart hurt more. Her mind was trying to understand, how can someone you love so much, someone you gave everything to, turn and walk away from you like you are nothing? How? Her breathing was sharp and fast. She felt like she would choke. Then, in that silence, her phone rang. The sound almost scared her. Her old phone. The one with the cracked screen. The one she always kept in her bag. It started ringing inside the dust. She began feeling around with both hands, trying to follow the sound. "Please, don't stop," she whispered as her fingers searched the ground. At last her hand touched it. She picked the call and placed it to her ear with shaking fingers. "Hello?" she whispered, trying to wipe her tears with her shoulder. A calm male voice answered. "Good afternoon. Please, am I speaking with Miss Loretta Okwudili?" She froze. Nobody called her that way. Nobody called her full name like that, not even Charles. He always called her, you. Yes, she said slowly. Who is this? My name is Sam, the voice said. His tone was respectful. Serious. I'm the general manager of Anderson Group of Companies. Loretta's heart stopped. Anderson Group, the same company Charles was shouting about. The same company that made him throw her away. Her throat went dry. I'm sorry, she whispered, confused. I don't understand. Why are you calling me? There was a short pause on the line. Then Sam said something that almost made Loretta drop the phone. Ma, he said, you need to be at our headquarters to complete your inheritance. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Inheritance? What inheritance? She had nothing. She owned nothing. She was blind, sitting in dust, with an old wrapper and a torn bag. I think you made a mistake, she finally said in a small voice. I don't have any inheritance. No, Ma, Sam said softly. There is no mistake. Loretta's lips began to shake again. Sir, I can't come, she whispered. I'm blind. I can't even walk by myself. My husband Her voice broke. Sam's voice became even more gentle. Please give me your address, he said. Stay where you are. I am coming to you now. Loretta held the phone to her ear and just sat there, breathing hard, feeling her own heartbeat. Is this real? Is this a joke? Is this some kind of trap from Charles to shame her more? But then she thought of one thing, one memory. Her mother on that hospital bed years ago, whispering to her, your real father is a great man. A very great, powerful man. Loretta had laughed back then. Mummy, stop. You always say story. Her mother had grabbed her hand tight. Listen to me. His name is Chief Anderson. Loretta's smile had faded. Her mother's voice had shaken. One day, he will look for you. Now, sitting in the dirt, with blood on her knee and dust on her face, Loretta began to cry again. But this time it wasn't only pain, it was fear, it was hope, it was both. Minutes later, she heard it. A car. Not just any car. This one sounded smooth. Quiet. Deep. Not like the noisy cars in her street, the kind of sound you hear from rich people's cars on TV. The gate opened. Footsteps. Miss Loretta? A voice called. It was the same voice from the phone. Sam, I'm here, she whispered. Strong hands touched her shoulders, not rough hands like Charles. Careful hands, respectful. Please don't be afraid, Sam said. You're safe. Then he lifted her gently from the ground. Loretta could not stop shaking. Her heart was beating so fast she felt dizzy. She could smell leather, fresh leather. She could smell clean air freshener. She could feel soft seats under her legs. They had put her in a car, not just a car. A Bentley that now belonged to her, and as the car door closed and the engine whispered to life, Loretta held her hands together, closed her blind eyes, and tried to breathe, because her life had just changed, because Charles had no idea, because the next time she and Charles would stand face to face, he would be the one calling her Ma. The ride felt like a dream she was scared to wake up from. Loretta sat very still in the back seat of the Bentley. Her fingers held each other so tight that they hurt. She didn't want to move. She didn't even want to breathe loud. What if this car wasn't for her? What if they made a mistake? What if they pushed her out in the middle of the road and said, sorry, wrong person? She could not see the car. She could not see anything. But she could feel the soft leather under her palm. She could feel the cool AC on her face. She could smell something expensive. Not perfume, not air freshener from cheap taxis. Something clean, something sharp, something like, money has entered this place. Her heart was beating so fast. Sam sat beside her. She could tell he was beside her, because sometimes the fabric of his sleeve brushed her arm when the car turned. He did not talk much. He did not ask her foolish questions. He did not act annoyed. He just let her sit and breathe. She wasn't used to that. She was used to being rushed, shouted at, blamed. Now this stranger was treating her like someone important. She didn't understand it. What if this is not real? She whispered. Sam turned his head toward her. Ma? She swallowed. You keep calling me Ma, she said quietly. Why? There was a pause. Then he said, almost like he was afraid to shock her too hard, because you're about to become my boss. Her mouth opened. No sound came out. Boss? Her? The blind woman Charles threw outside like dirt. The wife he said was bad luck? Her, who had no money for eye surgery, no food, no family, nobody. Please, she said in a small voice. Please don't play with me. I'm not, Sam said. His voice was calm, serious, the kind of voice that sounds like truth. I'm going to explain everything, he said. But first we need to get to the office. The lawyers are already there. We need your signature. After that, we can take care of you. Take care of you. Nobody had said that to her in a long time. Not out of love, not out of mercy, not out of respect. The last person who ever said, I'll take care of you, to Loretta, was the same person who just threw her out of his house and told her she was bad luck. Her chest hurt when she remembered Charles's voice. Don't be afraid, Sam said softly. You're safe now. Safe. That word alone almost made her cry. When they drove through the main gate of Anderson Group headquarters, Loretta could not see the building, but she could feel the moment the car entered. The Bentley slowed down. The air felt bigger somehow, like open space. She could sense echo. She could hear footsteps outside, but they were not fast street footsteps. These ones were calm. Clean shoes. Office shoes. She heard guards saying, "Good afternoon, sir," to Sam. She heard another voice whisper, "Is that her? Her? Are they talking about me? No. That cannot be." The car door opened and warm air touched her face. Lagos afternoon heat, but not rough. The kind of heat you feel when the ground is tiled and not dusty. Sam stepped out first, then came around and held her hand. Not like she was a burden, like she was glass. "Can you stand?" he asked. "Yes," she whispered. Her legs were shaking, but she stood. "Okay," he said quietly. "I'll guide you." He placed her hand on his arm and started walking with her, not dragging, not pulling, guiding her. She could feel air conditioning from inside a building. You know that feeling when you leave hot sun and enter real AC? The way it feels like you're walking into cold water. Loretta felt that now, and her heart started racing because she realized something. She was inside a place she never believed she would enter in her entire life. The headquarters of Anderson Group, the same place Charles used to point at on TV and say, "One day, that will be my company." Her lips trembled. Sam leaned close and said softly, "It's already yours." Loretta almost could not stand. They took her into an office with a big desk. She could feel it when they sat her down, not plastic chair, not weak wooden chair, a soft chair that hugged her back. There were other people in the room. She could hear papers moving. She could hear someone clear their throat. "Good afternoon, Ma," a man said respectfully. "My name is Barrister Joseph. I handle legal affairs for the Anderson family." Family. Loretta felt cold. "Before we begin," the lawyer said, "Sam, please confirm. Has she been told?" "Not everything," Sam said. "Only that Chief Anderson listed her in the will." "Good," the lawyer said. "Then I will speak clearly." Loretta sat up straighter. She folded her hands in her lap to stop them from shaking. Her whole body was listening. The lawyer continued. "Ma," he said, "Chief Anderson is dead." The room went quiet. Loretta let out a slow breath. She didn't know this man well. She had only seen him 2 times in her whole life. But those 2 times, she never forgot. The first time was when she was 12. A black car stopped in front of the small room where she and her mother were staying. The door opened. A tall man with grey hair and fine clothes came out. Her mother started crying the second she saw him. He hugged her mother. He hugged Loretta. He gave them money. He held Loretta's face and said, "You look like me." Loretta never forgot those words. The second time was years later. He came with someone else, a driver. He brought food. He brought money. He told Loretta's mother, "I will fix this. You and our daughter will not suffer like this forever. I promise you." He never came back again. Now she knew why. Before Chief Anderson passed, the lawyer said, "He called me, and he called Sam. He was very weak. He was in the hospital. He said, and I will use his exact words, he said, 'That girl is my blood. I have wronged her and her mother. I should have brought them in a long time ago. I don't have time left. Bring her home.'" Loretta covered her mouth. Tears ran down her face. "He gave us your number," the lawyer said. "He added your name to the will. He signed certain transfers." "What? What transfers?" Loretta whispered. Sam touched her shoulder. "Ma," he said quietly, Please don't be scared by the numbers I'm about to say. Numbers? What numbers? She asked. You now own controlling shares in Anderson Group of Companies, the lawyer said. Loretta blinked. What is that? It means, Sam said softly, you are the main owner. You are the top authority. You are, by law, the CEO. Her body went still. Her brain could not move. Her heart jumped so hard she felt it in her throat. No, she whispered. No, that can't be me. That's for rich people. You're rich now, Sam said. Loretta shook her head fast. No, I'm blind. I sleep on sponge on the floor. I don't even have clothes that are not torn. You have a house in Banana Island, Sam said gently. Loretta stopped talking. Her mouth stayed open. I have what? She whispered. A mansion, he said. In Banana Island. Fully furnished. Staff already in place. Security. A chef. 2 drivers. A personal assistant. Medical support. Loretta could not breathe. Banana Island. Even Charles used to point at pictures on his phone and say, one day, I will buy a house there. That's where real money lives. One day. But one day did not come for him. It came for the wife he threw on the floor. Loretta began to cry. Not loud, not wailing, just soft, shaking tears she tried to hide. Why? Why are you doing this for me? She whispered. We're not doing it for you, the lawyer said softly. We are obeying legal instruction from your father. Her heart hit the wall. Her father. Her real father. Chief Anderson. Her mother hadn't lied. Her mother wasn't telling stories. All those nights when her mother cried and said, you are not a mistake. You are not rubbish. You are not shame. You are a child of value. It was all true. All of it was true. Loretta put her face in her hands and cried like a little girl. Sam waited. He did not rush her. He did not tell her to calm down. He just let her cry. When she finally lifted her head again, her voice was tiny. But, I can't even see, she whispered. How can I be a CEO if I can't see anything? Sam took a slow breath. We've already started working on that, he said. From today, your body is our responsibility. Loretta frowned, confused. My body? Yes, Ma, Sam said. Your eyes. Her heart skipped. What do you mean? Sam leaned closer so she could hear him clearly. His voice became gentle, almost warm. Your father gave one last order, he said. He said, fix her sight. Loretta's lips parted. Air left her chest. We have booked you for surgery in London, Sam continued. We have paid for the best specialists. You will be on the company jet in a few hours. You'll have nurses with you the whole flight. When you land, they will take you straight to the hospital. Loretta shook her head. No, wait, I'm scared. I know, Sam said. But listen to me. His voice dropped lower, steady, sure. You are not alone anymore. Loretta covered her mouth again, and she cried. This time it wasn't from pain, it was from something she had not felt since her mother died. Safety. You're going to see again, Sam said softly. And when you come back to Nigeria, you are coming back as the owner of the company your husband is bragging about. Loretta gasped. Her heart slammed. Charles works here. Charles is proud of this place. Charles threw her away because of this place. And now this place belongs to her. Does he know? She whispered. Sam paused. No. Loretta took a slow breath. Her voice was soft. Careful. Dangerous. Good, she said. Sam almost smiled. Then the lawyer cleared his throat. Ma, we just need one thing from you before you travel, he said. For legal record. Oh, okay, she said, wiping her face. What is it? We need you, he said, to say your full name, so we can record it for the file. Loretta sat up, heart pounding. This was the moment. This was the first time in her life anyone asked her for her full name like it mattered. Her voice shook as she spoke. My name is Loretta Anderson. The room went quiet. Sam exhaled, almost like he had been holding his breath. The lawyer nodded. Thank you, Ma, he said. Loretta swallowed. Then something hit her chest, like lightning. She leaned forward fast. Wait, she whispered. Please. One last thing before we go. Yes, Ma? Sam said. I want to tell my husband that I am traveling. Sam's face went still. Loretta smiled a small, painful smile. Not because I need his permission, she said softly. Because I want him to hear my voice. Now. Before he sees my face later. Her smile grew, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was the kind of smile that happens when a woman who has suffered too long finally stands up inside. I want him, she said, to know what he threw away. The next morning, Charles woke up in his new apartment with a grin on his face. He had slept like a king. He stretched his arms wide and said aloud, "Ah, finally, my life is changing." He stood in front of the cracked mirror and admired himself in his new shirt. Not torn, not faded, the one he bought yesterday after his first paycheck from Anderson Group of Companies. He dusted his shoes, smiled at his reflection, and whispered, "Goodbye to bad luck." It's But deep down, somewhere under all that fake confidence, a small voice kept asking him, "Did you really do the right thing?" He pushed the thought away. Loretta was gone. She had to be. He didn't even bother to check on her since the day he threw her out. He told himself she'd find somewhere to go, or someone else to beg. But the truth was, Charles didn't want to see her again, because seeing her reminded him of who he used to be, poor, weak, and hopeless. Today was different. He was a man of status now, or so he thought. By 8 a.m., Charles arrived at the company. The building was like a palace, glass walls, marble floors, gold elevator buttons. He always walked in with pride, pretending he owned the place. He didn't know that the real owner was the woman he left crying in dust. He took a seat at his desk and began typing, humming an old tune. But then something strange happened. The office was unusually busy. People were whispering, phones ringing. The HR manager rushed across the hallway with files stacked in her arms. 2 security guards were polishing the main entrance glass door as if they were expecting royalty. Charles stopped typing and asked his colleague, "What's going on? Why is everyone acting like the president is visiting?" His colleague smiled. "You didn't hear? We're getting a new CEO today." "A new CEO?" Charles repeated. "I thought Mr. Kelvin Anderson was in charge." "He was," the man replied. "Until last week. He passed away. But before he died, he left his final instructions. The board says the new owner is someone no one here has ever met." Charles frowned. "No one has ever met?" "Yes," the man continued. "Word is, it's a woman. They say she's connected to the Anderson family, but no one knows who she is." Charles shrugged, pretending not to care, though a small wave of fear passed through him. Something about the whole thing felt strange. He shook it off and went back to typing. "Whoever she is," he said under his breath, "I hope she pays well." Meanwhile, at that exact hour, 4,000 miles away in London, Loretta opened her eyes to white light. For the first time in years she could see. At first, it was blurry, shadows and outlines. Then the light grew sharper. She blinked hard and saw the ceiling, the clock, the nurse, and the man standing beside her bed, smiling Sam. Her lips trembled. "I can see you," she whispered. "Yes, Ma," Sam said softly. "You made it. The surgery was a success." Loretta sat up slowly, tears rolling down her cheeks. She looked at her hands, her reflection in the window, her own face, older, thinner, but alive. She could see again. "Thank you," she cried. "Thank you so much." Sam smiled. "Thank your father," he said gently. "He made all this possible." She nodded, whispering, "I wish he were here to see me." Her heart filled with gratitude, but also something deeper, something fierce. Now that she could see, she wanted to go back. Not for revenge, but for justice. 2 weeks later, the company jet touched down in Lagos. Cameras flashed as Loretta stepped off the plane. Reporters had already heard that the mysterious new CEO of Anderson Group was arriving that morning. But no one knew her story. Loretta wore a simple white gown and dark sunglasses. Her hair was neatly braided back, her posture graceful. Sam walked beside her, carrying a briefcase. From the airport, a black Bentley drove straight to the headquarters, the same place where Charles worked as an ordinary staff. Inside the building, tension was high. Managers lined up. Employees whispered. The HR team rehearsed how to greet her. Charles adjusted his tie nervously when he heard footsteps approaching. Then, the elevator doors opened. Loretta stepped out. The whole floor went silent. Everyone froze as she walked in slowly, her heels clicking on the marble floor. She removed her sunglasses, and her eyes, bright and clear, swept across the room. No one recognized her, but Charles did. His heart stopped. He blinked once, then twice. It couldn't be. It couldn't be her. The woman he left blind, bleeding, and crying outside his compound was now walking into his office, radiant, powerful, confident with people bowing to her. His legs turned weak, his mouth went dry. "Good morning, everyone," Loretta said calmly. Her voice was gentle but carried authority. "I am Loretta Anderson, your new CEO." Every head bowed. "Good morning, Ma," they chorused. Charles couldn't move. His world spun. She looked around, then her eyes stopped on him. Their gaze met, and she smiled. A calm, knowing smile that made Charles's stomach twist. "Mr. Charles," she said softly. "You work here, don't you?" He swallowed hard. "Yes, Ma." "Good," she replied. "I was told you're one of our junior staff. You'll be working directly under my supervision now. I hope you're ready to serve this company with honesty and humility." "Yes, Ma," he stammered, trembling. "Perfect," she said, still smiling. "We'll see how you perform." Then she turned to the others. "Everyone, prepare for the board meeting. I have a few new rules for Anderson Group." The staff clapped nervously. The HR manager led her into the main office, leaving Charles standing frozen by his desk, sweat running down his forehead. He couldn't believe it. The same woman he called evil, blind, bad luck, was now the CEO of the company he was bragging about. The woman he abandoned was now the woman signing his paycheck. And as he sat down slowly, burying his face in his hands, one thought filled his mind. Life truly has a way of turning tables. Later that afternoon, Sam entered Loretta's office. She sat behind a large glass desk, signing documents with a calm smile. "How does it feel?" he asked. She looked up. "Like a new beginning," she said softly. "But not for me, for everyone who ever thought I was weak." Sam nodded. "He looked terrified when he saw you." Loretta gave a quiet laugh. "Good. Let him feel what I felt, helplessness." Then she paused, staring out the window at the Lagos skyline. "But I won't destroy him. That's not who I am. He'll stay here. He'll work. And every time he calls me Ma, it'll remind him what cruelty costs." Sam smiled. "That's strength, Ma. Not everyone could forgive." "Forgive?" she said quietly, her voice trembling. "Maybe one day, but not yet." She turned back to her papers. "For now, let him learn." Outside her office, Charles walked past her door, carrying files. He slowed down and looked through the glass wall, watching her, his former wife, sitting in the CEO's chair, giving orders to directors and signing million-naira deals. His throat tightened. He wanted to run inside and beg, but fear held him, the same fear he once gave her. And as he walked away, his mind echoed with her voice, the last thing she said before he locked her out that day. "Please don't leave me alone, Charles. I gave you everything." Now he understood. He didn't just abandon a woman, he abandoned his destiny. And this was only the beginning of his lesson. The morning sun glowed softly over Banana Island as birds sang above the perfectly trimmed lawns. Inside the massive white mansion, Loretta stood by the window, looking out over the ocean. The breeze carried the smell of salt and peace, something she hadn't known for years. She ran her hand across the curtain and smiled faintly. Just weeks ago, those same hands were bruised and covered in dust. Now, they were clean, polished, and rested. Her world had changed, but her heart was still learning to believe it. Behind her, Sam entered the room, carrying a silver tray with breakfast. "Good morning, Ma," he said warmly. "Good morning, Sam," Loretta replied. "You're early as always." He smiled. "You have a big day ahead. The press conference is at 10, and the board meeting follows right after." "Everything's set." Loretta nodded, turning to face him. "Thank you for everything you've done, Sam. I don't even know how to repay you." "He is not the smuggling." "You already did," he said, setting the tray down gently. "By surviving, and by taking your place." Loretta's eyes softened. "Sometimes I still wake up afraid," she confessed. "Afraid I'll open my eyes and go blind again. Afraid I'll find myself back on that dusty floor, begging him not to leave." Sam looked at her for a moment, his voice low. "You're not that woman anymore. You're the boss of Anderson Group now. And everyone, including him, knows it." She smiled faintly. "Yes, including him." At the company that morning, tension filled the air. Everyone had heard the rumors that the new CEO had ordered an all-staff meeting. Even the senior executives looked nervous. Charles sat at his small desk, twisting his pen and staring blankly at the screen. He hadn't slept all night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Loretta's face, not the blind, broken woman he threw away, but the powerful one who now ruled everything. He remembered how her eyes had met his the day before, calm, confident, seeing. She could see again. It was like a ghost had returned, but this time she wore a crown. Charles, his supervisor, called from across the office. The CEO wants everyone in the main hall. Move it. Yes, sir, Charles said quickly, grabbing his notepad, though his hands were shaking. He joined the crowd, heading to the grand hall. The room was massive, with tall glass walls and shiny floors that reflected the lights above. Cameras were set up for the media. Rows of chairs filled the space, and at the front stood a long table draped with white fabric, the CEO's seat in the middle. As the clock struck 10, the doors opened. Everyone rose. Loretta entered. Her steps were measured, graceful. She wore a cream suit with gold buttons and small pearl earrings. Her confidence filled the room. The murmurs stopped. Even the reporters fell silent as she walked to the stage. Sam followed behind her, holding a folder. Good morning, Loretta began, her voice steady but soft. I know you've all been waiting to meet me. Some of you already know my name. Some don't. My name is Loretta Anderson, and I am proud to take my father's place as CEO of this great company. The hall erupted in applause. Charles clapped too because everyone else did, but his palms were cold. Loretta raised her hand slightly, signaling them to stop. My father believed in fairness, in hard work, and in treating everyone with dignity. That's the kind of company I want to continue building. But let me be clear, I don't tolerate laziness, disrespect, or deceit from anyone. Her eyes swept across the room. For a moment, they landed on Charles. He looked down immediately. She continued, We'll be restructuring departments, promoting dedication, and removing anyone who thinks this company is a playground. This is not just business to me, this is legacy. Everyone nodded, whispering among themselves. Then she smiled faintly. Now, before we continue, I'd like to appreciate some of our hard-working staff. Mr. Sam, please read the names. Sam began calling out a few names. The employees came forward, shaking Loretta's hand as she thanked them personally. But when Sam read the next name, the room went quiet. Mr. Charles Okechukwu. Charles froze. His ears rang. He couldn't move. People turned to look at him. Charles? One of his colleagues whispered. Go now. The CEO is calling you. He swallowed hard and stood up slowly, walking toward the stage with trembling steps. When he reached her, Loretta looked straight at him. Mr. Charles, she said softly. You've been working with us for a few weeks now, yes? Yes, ma, he muttered. I heard you've been very passionate about your work. He forced a smile, confused by her tone. Yes, ma, I try my best. That's good, she said, because passion is important here. She leaned slightly closer and lowered her voice just enough for the microphones not to catch it. Especially when it comes from someone who knows how to leave a blind woman crying on the floor. Charles's heart stopped. He stared at her, his lips parting, but no words came out. Loretta smiled sweetly and turned back to the audience. Let's all clap for Mr. Charles for his passion. The hall filled with applause, unaware of the storm that just passed between them. Charles forced himself to smile, but his face twitched. His mind was spinning, his chest tight. When he returned to his seat, he sat still, unable to breathe. Loretta continued her speech, introducing new company goals and projects, her voice calm and controlled. But every sentence felt like a knife of poetic justice, twisting deeper into Charles's guilt. After the event, when the crowd cleared, Charles waited outside her office door. He needed to speak to her, to apologize, to explain. When the secretary saw him, she frowned. Do you have an appointment? No. But, then you can't go in. Please, Charles said desperately. Just tell her it's Charles. She'll know me. The secretary hesitated, then called on the intercom. Ma, someone named Charles says he knows you. A pause. Then Loretta's voice came through. Calm. Send him in. Charles entered slowly, his heart pounding. She was seated behind the large desk, signing a document. She didn't look up right away. He swallowed. Loretta. She raised her eyes sharply. It's Ma'am Loretta Anderson to you. He froze. Her voice wasn't angry. It was cold, precise, powerful. He tried again. I came to say I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. I don't even know what came over me. You beat me, she said flatly. You abandoned me. You told me I was bad luck. You left me in the dust and locked your door." He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. "I begged you, Charles," she continued. "I begged you to stay. And you left me to die." Tears welled up in his eyes. Please forgive me. I was foolish. I didn't know." "You didn't know I'd become rich?" she cut in. "You didn't know I'd survive? Or you didn't know karma was watching?" He broke down, kneeling in front of her desk. "Please, Loretta. Ma'am Loretta. Please. I've not had peace since that day. I see your face every night. I regret everything. I just want a chance to make it right." She stared at him for a long, quiet moment. Then she stood and walked around the desk, her heels clicking softly. When she stopped in front of him, she looked down at the man who once stood over her with a raised shoe. "Stand up," she said. He hesitated. "I said stand up." He rose slowly, trembling. She looked into his eyes and said, "Do you know what real punishment is, Charles? It's not jail. It's not hunger. It's knowing the person you thought was nothing has become everything, and you have to live with that truth every day." Charles's lips quivered. "Please, don't fire me." Loretta smiled faintly. "Fire you? No, Charles. You're going to keep your job. You're going to work here every single day and call me Mom in front of everyone. You'll carry out my instructions, take my corrections, and remember that life always turns." He nodded, tears rolling down his cheeks. "Thank you, Ma," he whispered. Loretta turned away. "You may go now." Charles walked out slowly, broken, humbled, ashamed. As the door closed behind him, Loretta sat back in her chair and exhaled deeply. Her hands trembled slightly, but her eyes were calm. She wasn't the same woman anymore. And though the scars of her past still ached, she finally understood something. Forgiveness wasn't weakness. It was power. Still, deep inside, she knew the story wasn't over. Charles had learned his lesson. Yes. But fate wasn't done teaching him yet. Outside the building, Charles wiped his eyes and whispered, "God, if you give me one more chance, I'll never treat anyone like that again." But as he turned to leave, he didn't see the black Bentley pulling up beside the gate, the one carrying someone who had been waiting for Loretta's return. A familiar figure stepped out. A new twist was about to unfold. The crowd at the Anderson Group headquarters that Friday morning buzzed with excitement. Rumors had spread that the new CEO, Loretta Anderson, was about to make an unexpected announcement. Journalists were already gathering outside the gates, but inside her office, the woman at the center of it all sat quietly calm, reflective, and deep in thought. Loretta was dressed in a royal blue gown that shimmered under the morning light. Her posture was graceful, but her eyes were distant. The power, the wealth, the respect, none of it had erased the memories of pain. Every title still echoed with the voice of the man who once called her bad luck. And now, that same man worked 3 floors below her, afraid to even look her in the eye. The last few weeks had been strange for Loretta. Charles had transformed into someone almost unrecognizable. The man who once spoke with pride and anger now moved quietly, greeted everyone politely, and bowed every time he saw her. But no amount of humility could undo what he did. At least, that's what she thought, until that morning. A gentle knock came on the door. "Come in," Loretta said. Sam entered with his usual calm smile, but his tone was serious. "Ma, I think you should see this." He handed her a file and a folded letter. "What is it?" "It's from Mr. Charles," Sam replied. "He left it with HR early this morning." Loretta hesitated, her heart tightening. Slowly, she unfolded the letter. The handwriting was shaky, but familiar. "Dear Mom Loretta, I know I don't deserve to write you, but please allow me to speak this once. I can't carry this guilt anymore. Since the day you forgave me and let me keep my job, I have not slept peacefully. Every time I see you in that office, commanding respect, I remember how I threw you away like trash. You gave me everything, and I repaid you with cruelty. I was blinded by pride, and in the process, I lost the only person who ever truly loved me. I want you to know something, Ma. I've resigned from Anderson Group. Not because I'm ungrateful, but because every day I walk these halls, I see the woman I should have protected. I see the life I destroyed. Thank you for not firing me. Thank you for showing me the kind of grace I never gave you. Please forgive me, truly forgive me if you can." I'll leave Lagos to start again somewhere small. I just pray that when you think of me, it won't be with hate, but with pity. May God bless you. Charles Okechukwu. Loretta's fingers trembled as she finished reading. Her chest rose and fell slowly as tears filled her eyes. Sam watched her quietly. Do you want me to accept his resignation, Ma? Loretta wiped her tears gently with a handkerchief. No, she said softly. Not yet. Should I call security? Sam asked. She shook her head. No. I'll go to him myself. Ma, Sam said cautiously. Are you sure that's wise? He's unpredictable. Loretta gave a faint smile. I used to live with him. I know exactly how broken he is. Sometimes people like that don't need punishment anymore. They need truth. Charles sat in the empty break room, his small box of belongings beside him. A photo frame of his younger self and Loretta back when life was simple lay face down on the table. His eyes were red from crying. He had no one. No friends, no family, no wife, no pride. The company he once bragged about now belonged to the woman he betrayed, and today he was leaving it for good. He was about to pick up the box when he heard soft footsteps behind him. He froze. He knew that walk. Charles. Loretta's voice said quietly. He turned slowly, his eyes wide, lips trembling. Ma'am, I was just leaving. Loretta stepped closer. Her face was calm, not angry but sad. Sit down, she said gently. He obeyed. For a long moment, neither spoke. The silence hung heavy between them, filled with memories, laughter that turned into screams, love that turned into hate. Finally, Loretta broke the silence. I read your letter. Charles swallowed. I meant every word. I don't deserve your forgiveness. She looked at him closely. Then why are you asking for it? He blinked. Because I can't live with myself if you don't. Loretta took a slow breath. Do you remember the day I went blind? Charles nodded weakly. Yes, Ma. Do you remember what you said to me after I came home from the hospital? He shut his eyes tightly. I told you it was your fault, that you were careless. Loretta's voice wavered. Yes, and I believed you. I spent nights crying, thinking I had ruined your life, when in truth, I ruined mine by loving you too much. Tears slipped down his cheeks. Loretta, please. She raised a hand, stopping him. Do you know why I didn't fire you, Charles? He shook his head. Because I wanted you to see that the woman you called bad luck is not cursed, she's chosen. She said quietly. Chosen to rise, chosen to forgive, and chosen to let God fight for her. Charles fell to his knees. Please, Loretta, don't forgive me because I'm sorry. Forgive me because I'm already dead inside. I can't live knowing what I did to you. Loretta stared down at him. Her eyes softened as she remembered how he once stood over her, kicking her to the ground. The same man was now kneeling at her feet, begging for mercy. Her heart trembled not with anger, but with compassion. She bent slightly, her voice trembling. Charles, I forgive you. He looked up in disbelief. You, what? I forgive you, she repeated. Tears glistening in her eyes. Not because you deserve it, but because I need peace. I don't want to carry hate anymore. I carried it for too long. It made me blind even after my eyes were healed. Charles broke down completely, sobbing into his hands. Loretta turned toward the door but stopped halfway. You said you wanted to start again somewhere small, she said softly. Sam has a few community projects in Enugu. They're looking for honest workers. I'll tell him to put your name on the list. Go and serve. Maybe you'll find healing there. Charles looked up, speechless. Thank you, Ma, he whispered, his voice shaking. You're not human. You're an angel. Loretta smiled faintly. No, Charles. I'm just someone who finally learned that mercy can heal what revenge cannot. Weeks later, Anderson Group thrived under her leadership. The company grew stronger, more respected, and more compassionate under her watch. Staff said she treated everyone like family, and her story became an inspiration to many. One day, as she walked through the office, she saw a young female cleaner struggling to carry heavy boxes. Loretta stopped, walked over, and helped her lift one. The cleaner gasped. Ah, Ma, you shouldn't. Loretta smiled. It's fine. Once upon a time, I was where you are. The cleaner blinked. Really? Loretta nodded. Yes. But life has a way of lifting people if they stay kind, even when the world isn't. As Loretta walked away, she felt something warm settle in her heart. The pain of the past no longer held power over her. She had risen, not through wealth, but through grace. And far away in Enugu, a humbled Charles stood outside a small community center, watching children laugh as he taught them how to plant trees for a reforestation project. For the first time in years, he smiled a real smile. He looked up at the sky and whispered, "Thank you, Loretta," because now both of them were free, one through forgiveness, the other through repentance. That evening, as the sun set over Banana Island, Loretta sat on her balcony, sipping tea. The sea breeze touched her face softly. Sam walked up behind her. "Beautiful evening, Ma," he said. She smiled. "It is. You know, Sam, I've learned something." "What's that, Ma?" "That blindness isn't only about the eyes," she said quietly. "It's about the heart. Charles lost his sight long before I did. He just didn't know it." Sam nodded. "And now?" "Now," she said, smiling toward the horizon. "We both see clearly." The sky turned gold as waves hit the shore gently like life, calm after the storm. What is your view about this story? Where are you watching from? If you enjoyed this story, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories.